Today, New Japan held its new beginning in Osaka card, and it started off with a 10-bell salute for Tadao Yasuda, who passed away on Tuesday at the age of 62. And before the show, they brought out all the members of the roster, and they did a 10-bell salute for him. And we do have a big obit on Yasuda up on the website if you want to read about that. In a very brief summary, like he was involved in sumo for many, many years. He was, a good sumo. He didn't reach the highest level, but he was like a solid, like mid-tier level in the stable that he was attached with. Left sumo and then came over to professional wrestling in '94. And he had to start from the bottom. He had to start as a young lion and just work his way up. And it took him, he was kind of a undercard wrestler that worked a lot of multi-man tags. He could often be the fall guy if he was teaming with a big star like a Muto or a Hashimoto, and sort of just like plugged along. His big break came as kind of a beneficiary of Antonio Inoki and the crossover, because the timing of this all, we went so deep into this just last week with Shinya Hashimoto, who was the opposite end of that, not benefiting from that crossover. But Yasuda did several fights. He did like 6 fights altogether. And the big one was at Pride 13. This was in 2001. This was the same card where Kazushi Sakuraba had his first fight with Vanderlei Silva, which was pretty significant at the time. And Yasuda fought Masaki Satake, and it was a horrible fight. And he won by decision. But the fact that he won, it was this story that they told that this guy, he had like a big gambling problem, and over time, like he had lost his family as a result of this. And the story that they presented on the broadcast was that he was going to Pride to pay off his gambling debts and reunite with his family. And this was the story that they told, where the family is reuniting with him after this win. And then it leads to this New Year's Eve fight with Jerome LeBanner, where, and you can watch I just watched this yesterday, where he's with his daughter in like a coffee shop, and he's explaining to her how this is going to get, like, he's going to do this for his daughter. And he pulls off this relatively huge upset, because Jerome LeBanner in 2001 is like 29 years old. He's a world-class, like, K1 kickboxer, but he had just been knocked out by Mark Hunt in the K1 Grand Prix a few weeks before and had no ground game. And this is his MMA debut against Yasuda, who at least has like a sumo base, and he at least knew something on the ground. Dude, if you've never seen this fight, like, LeBanner is so done on his back that Yasuda chokes him with a forearm choke, like a forearm choke. It was just the most improbable win you're going to see in an MMA contest. And it's kind of made Yasuda's career, because New Japan, like, this was very criticized at the time because they put the title on him in New Japan in February. But at the same time, it's like, we talk about some of these instances in pro wrestling. Like, we were kind of talking about this with Brody King last week. Sometimes you catch something and you just run with it. And I certainly was not, like, you can argue Yasuda was just like, he was this undercard performer that would never be considered for an IWGP title run, but he won this fight and they felt, hey, this was a great story, let's just go with it. And they tried, and he had, a very brief run with the title before he dropped it to Yuji Nagata. And that was the apex of his career. He continued for many years. He left New Japan. He worked for Hustle. He worked for 01 and wrestled all the way up to 2011. But that's, he had an interesting career, given like the chapters of sumo, pro wrestling, and mixed martial arts. And he was someone that actually did get some benefit out of it, although he was not the game changer that they hoped for, and kind of represented something that a lot of fans were resisting in the early 2000s. But that is the story of Tadao Yasuda. What a mustache on him, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Legendary.
February on the Post Wrestling Cafe, we continue our review of Season 2 of WWE Unreal, including a big look at Seth Rollins' fake injury, which culminated in his appearance at SummerSlam. We're going to be looking back at Shinya Hashimoto with a special career retrospective on Rewind Away, plus a review of Extreme Rules 2011 as John Cena announces to the WWE audience that Osama bin Laden has been compromised to a permanent end. We'll also take a look at New Beginning in Osaka, TNA No Surrender, and new members can take advantage of a 7-day free trial. Go to postwrestlingcafe.com and jump on board in February.